All right, guys, buckle up because this is the second last recap I'll be doing for Real Housewives of New Jersey for this season. It is a short season. We are already at the end. This was the second last episode, and then we have one more episode to go. Anyways, I cover all things Housewives, Bravo Lebs, pop culture tea. Subscribe if you haven't already. I post a ton of videos pretty much on a daily basis. And with that said, let's get into it. All right, so for Jersey, again, I'm not on team anyone. I am team show. Also, regarding this episode, I did see some of the commentary online, and some of you are like, oh, it was boring, not much happened. What do you want? Do you want a fist fight like every episode? Because if that's what you want, I think you should like switch channels to another network where there's lowbrow women fighting about like lowbrow situations. Here on Bravo, I want to watch affluent women of a certain socioeconomic background fight over bows and, oh, you didn't invite me to your luncheon. Let's get into this recap. You can't appease everyone. It is what it is. I personally didn't mind this episode. I don't want to see people fighting every single episode. I want to eat my dinner, do laundry Sunday night, um, watch the show, and, not get like heart palpitations. Anyways, we see Jennifer Aydin with her family. She sits down for lunch with her two brothers. One of her brothers, last season, last year, brought his new wife from Turkey over to New Jersey. So they're settling in, starting a new business in Florida. And then this brother in the picture, he lives in New York and he's a music teacher. Jennifer Aydin, I really do feel like she's kind of put herself in a corner being Teresa's ride or die. And in this sit down lunch, she is talking to her family how Teresa didn't like really stand up for her and the fight scene with Danielle. Jennifer Aydin, I don't know what fight she was involved in, but she's going around telling people that she just went like boop, like she just did just a little press against Danielle. No, Danielle, you literally shoved the girl and then she hit you back in a moment of fight or flight with her glass of water. And good thing it was plastic and not glass. So Jennifer Aydin sits down with her family and she's just like, Teresa doesn't have my back. I gotta like tell Teresa, like this is what I need from the friendship. I feel kind of bad for her, but at the same time, I kind of don't. Like, all these years, this is the game you were playing, and now this is where you've landed, backed up in a corner. So, in the previous episode, obviously, Rachel Fuda did not attend Teresa's live podcast at that cathedral, which was very odd. But, anyways, so Danielle and Rachel Fuda, they have just like a casual, play date for their girls. And Danielle shares obviously what happened at Teresa's event. And Danielle, of course, loved sharing to Rachel Fuda how as she was walking out the door, she just had to stick it to Jen Aydin. So, and then Rachel Fuda was like, oh my God, like, I can't believe you did that. And then Danielle shares what's going on with her dad and if they're, connecting, why he wasn't able to show up, and her stepmom having some sort of an eye surgery. They're just, like, having a little powwow, like, what's going on in each other's lives, what have they missed at the events that they didn't attend. It was cute, and it was giving Future of Jersey, which, if they wanna, leave out the older folks in their 60s, Margaret, I don't know if she's 60, guys, but anyways. This could be the future of, New Jersey in this picture. They both have young children, they're younger housewives. There's a lot of story in there. Um, and it's nice to see someone, yeah, they've lived a little, but also there's a ton in their lives to pursue and do. So yeah, this, who knows, might be the future of Jersey. We shall see. All right, so we see this little chit chat between Teresa and her daughter, Gia, in this fake Prada sweater. I don't know what's going on here. Who is giving all this fake Prada, fake designer sweatshirts and t-shirts to Teresa? Where is she finding all these? Anyways, she's having a little, chat with her daughter. And in this season, you can definitely tell Teresa has lost a lot of weight. Like even in one of the episodes earlier in the season, Louis was like, "Oh, you got like such a little butt," and just like a lot of people are noticing how thin she's become. And is she on Ozempic and whatever else and working out a lot? Maybe. Like working out a lot, maybe. But whatever stressful situation she's going through with the lawsuits, I'm sure that's heavy on her as well. And that's what she talks about with Gia, like all this stuff with Louis, his ex what was it, like his ex fiance, Margaret's involvement, and Gia is like, like just showcase to the ladies what's going on. Jennifer Fessler, she's very like even, let her know like what Margaret's involvement is, and she'll see the light. She'll see, what's truth, what's fact. And because Margaret apparently has been contacting Louis Ruelas's ex or exes and trying to get dirt on him. It's very dirty, you guys, in the words of Danielle Cabral, dirty. Also, by the way, I did just put up a video on John Fuda, him taking part in home invasion in his 20s, and not just him selling Mary Jane at the age of 17. You guys can go check that video out. It's already been posted and it's like all the buzz as of this weekend. So go check it out. And some stuff on the Louis Ruelas Navivia stuff. No, whatever that company is. Go check that out. Anyway, so Teresa and Gia, they're having this conversation. Side note, when Teresa started this chat with Gia, they showcased a clip of her confessional, and she just talked about how Joe Giudice, Juicy Joe, I think he just got his GED. Teresa did college. She did like a 2-year degree, and then she went to Macy's to be a buyer. And then meanwhile, Gia, she completed, her 4-year university degree, and now she's taking a month off to study for LSATs. So it doesn't matter, what happened between her and Juicy Joe and whatever happened to the parents. These girls are such smart cookies, and obviously they had to grow up a little fast, given the circumstances, but they seem to be doing really well. Anyways, back to the stuff about Louis, his ex, the lawsuit, Marge, and then Gia and Teresa. They talk about how, what do you call it? Teresa's lawyer should talk about the situation with the lawsuits and share it properly with the girls. And Teresa, in her confessional, is like, James Leonard, he's not representing Louis. James Leonard is Teresa's lawyer. Guys, everything Melissa Zold knows said before the season even aired or during the season. She's been on different podcasts and different, I don't know, platforms, basically sharing everything that we are supposed to see on Jersey this season. Pretty much everything has aired to the T, and apparently we are supposed to see James Leonard on the show at some point. So I don't know if he's actually going to come on and film with the ladies, and there's, I don't know, some sort of a scene like that, or this is the extent of James Leonard, Teresa's lawyer, that we're going to see him talking to Teresa on FaceTime in a baseball cap and like a hoodie. Um, I don't know about your lawyers, but my lawyers, when I'm having a Zoom call with them, they are in the office, they're taking notes, they got their assistant on it. That's the caliber of my lawyers that I've dealt with for anything. Not that I want to deal with lawyers, but you guys get what I mean. I don't know what kind of lawyer he is, but he is very much in, in I don't know how to explain it. In in women's what is it? He went from, Peter to Patricia, in the words of Nene Leakes. Like, this is very much Peter to Patricia behavior. I don't know what kind of lawyer he is, but according to Melissa's Old Nose and, some other bloggers, he's very much involved in, all the digging of the dirt and getting, I don't know, back at the ladies and whatever. It's a lot to deal with. But anyways, it was nice to obviously see, this clip with Gia and the fact that she's taking a month off from work to study for her LSATs. So she's well on her way to becoming a lawyer, and that is great to see. Moving on, we see Jen Fessler with Dolores. The two Switzerlands are in the kitchen just chatting. And just as I mentioned, Teresa looks quite skinny this season. Even Dolores brings it up to Jen Fessler, like, oh, Teresa, she's just like a shell. That's literally the wording Dolores used. And Jen Fessler was like, "Yeah, when I saw what happened with Danielle Cabral, Jennifer Aydin, and all the yelling going on in the back room or whatever at Teresa's live podcast, Jen Fessler was like, "That's it, I'm walking out. I'm not dealing with this." And then we did see Jen Fessler walking out, and Dolores just kind of like shared what happened, like, all the yelling, and she didn't want Jen Aydin to yell at Teresa, considering what Teresa's going through. But at the same time, Dolores is like, "Hey, Teresa, I don't wanna know of all the lawsuits and all the legal stuff, like, I don't wanna be involved or have any part in the lawsuits." And I understand from Dolores's aspect, like, it's not just about her staying Switzerland and not taking sides or not having information and take sides or not take sides based on that info. She wants to keep her name clear. Like, who the heck wants to, deal with lawyers, get involved with lawyers, even have their name in a lawsuit, just, parties potentially involved or whatever. So I totally understand where Dolores is coming from. Anyways, we move on to Jen Fessler. Jen Fessler talks about how awkward it was between her and Rachel Fuda at Danielle's bougie kids party, fashion, whatever it was. I don't know how many bougie kids events we've had on this season because the ladies apparently this season is a shorter season. They don't get to travel anywhere. We're just gonna fill it with a bunch of bougie kids fashion show. If I have to hear bougie one more time, guys. No, I'm kidding. Anyways, Jen Fessler is basically like, I reached out to Rachel. I wrote this long text. She didn't respond back. However, Jen Fessler did receive the invite from Rachel Fuda. And when Rachel Fuda and Danielle were catching up on the couch at her house, Danielle asked Rachel Fuda, "Are you going to invite all the girls?" All the girls except Teresa is really what all the girls means when you're asking Rachel Fuda. Rachel is like, "Yeah, I'm gonna invite Jen, both Jens, Aydin and Fessler." Anyways, we'll see that later on. So Jen Fessler is talking to Dolores, like, "Look, I sent Rachel a text, a long text. She didn't respond, but she did send me an invite for her, it's not a sleepover, more like a stay over girls' night that we're gonna see later." And Jen Fessler, I guess, felt awkward, so she kinda, like, declined the invite. And Dolores is just having a heart to heart with Jen Fessler. Like, look, she's good people. You don't want to throw away this friendship. And Dolores even calls it out. The fact that Jen Fessler and Rachel Fuda, they do have, quite an age gap between them. I think it's like 20 years. Keep in mind, Rachel Fuda is in her early to mid 30s, and then Jen Fessler is in her early to mid 50s because Jen Fessler is Margaret's friend. That's how she came into the group. So obviously Margaret's a little bit older. So obviously her friend Jen Fessler is in her age range. Now you can obviously have friends that are a little bit older than you. However, Rachel's maturity level isn't quite there as Jen Fessler's, and that's not like that's not to say like not Jen. Rachel Fuda isn't mature. It's just she is young and she still has a lot of life. Like even me, when I think about my friends that are like older, like I don't know, 16 years older or whatever, and just older and they have kids and stuff. Back in the day, people have kids earlier. So these older friends, their kids are like in high school going to university. And it's like I can't relate to, certain things they're going on in their life and then certain things in my life they experienced it almost 20 years ago. So, you know, as much as we wanna be good girlfriends, whatever, it's just age is a thing, you know, you have to factor that in. Anyways, long story short, we do see, Jen Fessler, you know, taking Dolores's words. She then texts Rachel, and we of course see Jen Fessler at Rachel's girls' night party later on. All right, we see a lunch between Teresa and her bestie Jen Aydin. Um, Jen Aydin, she starts off, you know, talking about how she needs Teresa to be on her side, you know, just like back her up, all that. Teresa could not even get a word in, and you could see Teresa's, like, thinking a lot, but the words just aren't coming out, um, and Teresa's like, "Uh-huh, yeah, yeah, I got you," you know? And Jen Fessler's just going, just going, just going, and in the end, I guess Jen Fessler got what she needed. I mean, not Jen Fessler, Jen Aydin got what she needed from Teresa, like, just acknowledgement, like, "Okay, girl, I see you, I hear you, I will have your back next time." Anyways, we move on. We see Jen Aydin ask Teresa about all the lawsuits and whatever's going on with Louis, the ex-fiance, Marge, her involvement. And again, the theme here is Teresa is stressed out considering everything that is going on. And she's just a shell of who she is. She's dealing with a lot on her end. And in due time, people will find out what's happening, and she's just saying it's taking like 6 months or whatever, but, you know, let due process take place, and in the end, I don't know, Louis will be a free man. Everyone will see he's right, he's not in, the wrong. So, guys, I have to be honest with you, I'm not, like, following the legality stuff in Jersey like that, like, if I hear something, I might talk about it, but I'm not like one of the people who's like following this story. I don't even know where this lawsuit is between Louis Ruelas's ex and him. If you guys know, definitely chime into the comments and you know, share your thoughts and provide that context. Anyways, let's move on. All right, so we are now at like the all cast taping minus Teresa. We have a cute girls' night with Rachel Fuda. It's not like a sleepover, but it's, you know, kind of like that. And she just wanted like something light and fun, you know, get the girls over in jammies, some good food, beautiful decor. She does have a beautiful home, you know, they really do showcase that. And you don't need to have, you know, like a massive estate or mansion to have a beautiful home. I don't really know what the size of Rachel Fuda's home is, but it's definitely a, you know, big enough home for her, John, and the three kids. And I guess like the girls can grow into it. Again, I don't know how, you know, big the rooms are or how many rooms there are, but it's a very nice house with you know, what she has going on, and all the ladies come in, and I think for some of them, it's like the first time they saw her house. Like earlier in the episode, Danielle finally goes over to Rachel Fuda's house. She's like, "Oh, this is so beautiful," and then same with like the other ladies going to her house for the first time. So when Jen Fessler walks in, you could tell she's feeling very awkward. This is Rachel Fuda's house. You know, they're not exactly on good terms yet. Yes, she accepted her text invite, texted her back, like, yeah, she'll, you know, join her girls' night, whatever. And I do think the way Rachel Fuda acted, it was a little bit abrupt at Danielle Cabral's bougie brunch party, whatever it was. She didn't understand Jen Fessler was actually defending John Fuda against Teresa and Gia regarding his comment, whatever he said about him comparing himself to Gia, whatever it was. Anyways, Rachel Fuda had one of those moments where she just freaked out. It's like, why is, you know, Teresa and John, like, why am I even hearing you putting them in the same sentence? So that's why she kind of like freaked out and left. They have a little powwow off to the side. They hug it out. Everything's good for them from here on. Guys, this was hilarious. Chrissy, who is the lipstick reader, she had all the ladies put on lipstick and then just put their lipstick on a card. And then she's reading Margaret. And it's like, oh, you had great love, you don't let people in easily. And then she said something to the extent, the long life that you've lived, or you've been here on this earth for a very long time. And the woman immediately burst out laughing. And, like, no shade, Margaret is, I believe, the oldest on the cast, like, it is what it is, and, this lipstick reader, I don't think, anyone paid her ahead of time or gave her any info ahead of time, unlike the lady Jen Aydin had for the Turkish, coffee reading. Cause and then they even showcased the clip when, what was it? The Turkish coffee reader, what was it, last season when Jen Aydin had her at her house and all the other women, and then the Turkish coffee reader was like, "Jennifer Aydin definitely gets endorsements," or something to that extent. The fact that the coffee reader from last season was talking about endorsements. Come on, Jen Aydin, that was really funny. We know you probably told that lady to say whatever she said. But anyways, this lipstick reader, she was a good time. The ladies all enjoyed it. It was just a lot of like fun throughout this episode. This was like a quick 2-second scene between Jen Aydin and Jackie. And I almost like forgot Jackie was even at this like girls' night. We didn't see a lot of interaction with her. This was definitely one of her highlights. Probably, yeah, I don't think we even really heard from Jackie this episode with the exception of this scene. I don't know, they're just going from like table to the seating area. Jen Aiden's like, "Hey, I finished your book." And Jackie's like, "Oh, that's great." Like they're coming together, their friendship is blossoming. And Jackie's like, "Oh, I thought it would have been like a New York Times bestseller." And then obviously Jen Aiden, being the shady queen that she is, she's just like, "Not everyone can be Teresa." And, look, I don't know, for to be a New York Times bestseller, my understanding was, if you get a number of is it, pre-orders, it's a good way to shoot up to, being at the top of the list as a New York Times bestseller. So and we've seen Jackie do rounds and rounds of interviews, trying to promote her book. And then obviously, the word is she switched teams from Margaret to Teresa to hopefully help the sale of her books. So her books are selling. That is what Jackie said to Jen Aydin. It's just maybe not selling enough to be a New York Times bestseller. However, I don't know what the numbers are for her books now, but she's still, hawking those books or her book that she wrote. Guys, this was so mean. And honestly, like Margaret and Danielle, they are such instigators. So Danielle came in at the end with her ugly cake. I'm just gonna call it. That cake was so ugly, and it doesn't even look like something I would feed my friends or my kids if I had kids, or anyone else's kids for that matter. She brings this ugly cake with like maybe she made it with her kids. If she made it with her kids, I take it back. But if Danielle made this cake all on her own with these wafers, I'm calling it what it is, guys. It's not a very nice looking cake. And apparently, one of them at the end look like, they're falling off because, all the wafers are like up straight with the heads on top. Meanwhile, there's like one wafer at the end falling off. And Margaret's like, "Is this Jen Aydin?" Just being the instigator that she is. However, this was like cute, like fun shade, and Jen Aiden's like, "Oh, I wouldn't eat that cake anyway. Like, I'm not going to eat that cake." Anyways, whatever, they move on, it was funny. Now, they had a lot of, like, fun activities, a lot of fun games, and, yeah, there was some interesting talk, just based on what they were doing, but it was just nice to see, like, the girls coming together, having a fun time, playing a fun game, having fruit roll-ups, and then we get into, how should I say it? Some adult conversation, and it does start with the fruit roll-up. We then have the ladies sit back down, and I've said it in my Real Housewives of New Jersey recaps before. I just think Margaret is very crass. It's not the way I would speak. It's not the type of conversations I have with my girlfriends. However, Margaret does, and she talks about, like she's like, "Oh, let's play a game. Um, how do you know when your man's in the mood?" Or, like, "What gets him started?" And I'm saying it in a more how can I word it? In a more appealing way of talking about the conversation, but the way Margaret said it, her vocabulary and mine, not vocabulary, her vernacular and mine are a little bit different. And anyways, so she gets the conversation started, and apparently that's what gets the girls together. They're all giggling, they're all sharing what their husbands say to them when their husbands are in the mood. According to Jen Fessler, all her man does is say, "Hey there," and boom, they're in the mood. So I don't know, it was fun, it was cute. We then get to Dolores, guys. This was like a little sad. I think it was Melissa who asked Dolores, like, "Oh, hey, what's going on with Polly? How's the new business going?" And Dolores is like, "Oh, we just got our new computers, because now Dolores is in, what is it, an electrical business with Polly?" That sounds so hot. Like, wow, you know this man for a year. You're not getting a big fat diamond ring, but he will drive you around in that Rolls Royce. No ring, but you will start an electrical company with this man. Now, the other way I look at it is, look, Dolores is a woman of a particular age. She already has her kids. Polly, I believe he has kids as well. She's thinking about the next chapter in her life. It might not sound the most romantic, however, she's looking out for herself. Like, the show's gonna end, this paycheck that they get, at least a half a million or more, whatever Dolores is getting at this point, she's not gonna have this paycheck forever. So maybe it is a good time to get into an electrical business with Polly, and then, I don't know, maybe a real estate business with him down the road, whatever it is. It doesn't sound the most romantic to me, to you. However, in Dolores's eyes, is she okay with it? Is she settling? I don't know. But she talks about how they're getting the computers. And then, of course, the ladies are like, "Oh, did you guys christen the office?" Dolores is like, "No, no, it's a new office. We're just, getting everything set up." It is what it is. Anyways, and then Dolores is like, "Look, guys, the group is broken, fractured. We need to take a trip. Like, think about how fun Ireland was last season, and obviously this season there's no cast trips. However, she's like, let's just drive out somewhere a couple hours from here. Are you guys all ready to like get together?" And, she's just like getting the temperature of the room. And then Dolores is like, if you just like make believe you're having a good time with the other person, it will then come to fruition. And Melissa pipes up, like, "Yeah, I fake it with like Jen Aydin, and now look at us." And Jen Aydin's like agreeing, like, "Yeah, I fake it with Melissa too, and now look at us. We're actually on like pretty decent terms." So, anyways, I guess the ladies are now planning a trip. Guys, there's only one more episode left, and I guess it's going to be a supersized episode, like those 1 hour, 15-minute ones. And let's see how it goes. And I got one more treat for y'all. So Danielle Cabral was on Watch What Happens Live right after Real Housewives of New Jersey, and like this silver sparkly dress, and David Arquette was on. And David Arquette apparently is a fan of the show, and Andy was asking him a bunch of questions, and according to David Arquette, he was answering Marge, but he called her Claudia. So guys, meet Claudia. Marge, we don't know her. Claudia, this is her. Anyways, I am on Twitter if you guys want to follow me there, as well on Instagram, a little bit more active in those spaces. But yeah, I enjoyed this episode. I don't need the girls yelling at each other and like fighting with each other all the time. It's not a cute look. That's not why I watch these housewives. We got one more episode left. It's going to be supersized most likely. Definitely come back. I will have the recap, and I'm sure between now and then we're gonna have tons to talk about with our Jersey girls. I also cover, the recaps for Orange County, Just Housewives tea, Bravo love tea, pop culture tea. I got you with all of that. Subscribe if you haven't already. Chime in, in the comments below and definitely give it a like. With that said, I will catch you all later.